Double Sculls, the first side-by-side racing of the day for these coxless boats, and we generally get some fun and games. Henley Rowing Club against Molesey Boat Club. Henley on the bank side, the nearest to us. Molesey on the far side, and it's Molesey that have taken a lead at the top of the island. The crew's first warning of the day from the umpire for them to shift over and get back on their station. Henley Rowing Club about a length down now, but these boats can shift, can't they, Stan? They can accelerate, they can have mishaps. It's never dull watching Double Sculls.
It's the smaller the boat, the more the race pattern is much more variable. With the bigger boats, you can see that a length off the start they can hang on right to the finish, although Kingston didn't quite manage it last race. But with the smaller boats, positions change much more quickly and much more dramatically. So my feeling is that if there's less than 2 lengths in it, race is not over. And here we can see there's barely a length, would you say? No, less than a length. Looking down from the drone, we can see it's half a length. Here we've got half a length. The Molesey, Emma Boynes and Hannah Foxley from Molesey, and Catriona Kay and Rachel Barnes from Henley. They seem to be fairly well matched. Emma Boynes and Hannah Foxley, I know, have been round the circuit and won a few things this year. But as you were saying, Henley have got this superb junior squad, and I think these are 2 of their younger athletes.
I think you're probably right. They're not out of this, though. They're still in touch. I mean, we're only 500 or 600 metres into this race. We're going past the church now, coming up to what used to be the old barn bar. Then we have the enclosure here. When they pass our window, they're just about halfway down this track, 1,500 metres. And you are looking at that rate meter again. Stan, how important is it how many times you put the blade in and out per minute?
Provided you can maintain the quality, then obviously the higher rate will make the boat go faster. But the trouble is you reach a plateau. And once you've reached a plateau, the more you take the rate up, actually, the slower the boat goes, because you're spending more time moving the main weight, which is the bodies, up and down the boat. And that's the trick, and why you do mile after mile and hour after hour of practice to actually find your optimum rate and your optimum speeds at your optimum pressure, which is why one crew will be going at 34s and one at 36s. And there's also, of course, the gearing or the rig, but I think this afternoon we won't go down those roads.
Well, going down the track here very, very nicely as the sun comes out. That was Molesey Boat Club. Another heat of the senior double sculls now. This is race number 23, Tideway Scullers School, nearest to us on the left-hand side of your screen, and Durham University on the right-hand side. So the Berkshire station is the towpath side, and the Buckinghamshire station is the town side of the Thames, as the crew head off Temple Island behind them, and they head away from Temple Island down towards the town of Henley. We have a fantastic overhead shot here, and we can see that it is Tideway Scullers School at the top of the island that have a slight lead over Durham University. But they're nippy little boats, these double sculls, so the lead can change.
Rona McCallum and Catherine O'Riordan there from the Tideway Scullers. Their boathouse is, of course, just before Chiswick Bridge. The finish post of the boat race is right outside the Tideway Scullers boathouse. And from Durham University we got Megan Connolly and Gabriella Hatfield. Both these boathouses are places for the Great Britain Start Programme and Centres of Excellence. So no surprise therefore to see we've got 2 doubles here sculling really neatly and very correctly. One of the things I'm constantly delighted to see is the length of stroke that actually people now have. Their time was when there was a great variance in the length of stroke in crews, but if you look at these 2 crews, these 2 doubles, they both of them really pick up the water right where they reach, and it's solidly driven through, right through to the finish, and the finish comes out nice and square. But it's interesting, as I was talking and they were going down the meadow up towards what will be the barrier at Henley Royal, how Tideway Scullers just jumped their entries. You can see they've got a very quick entry, Tideway Scullers there. Bite. And they've just drawn out, then perceptibly inching out about just an inch or a couple of inches a stroke, and just gradually, inch by inch, pulling away from Durham University there. Fabulous shots there from our drone camera overhead that really highlights the difference there between that sharper entry from Tideway Scullers, and they've now what, length and a half?
Yeah, they've moved on nicely there. We're just coming up now to pretty much the halfway point of this race. Tideway Scullers School took the lead off the start and have progressed down there. So this is senior double scull, so you'd expect a good standard. Very, very tidy crew. And this is about technique coupled with power, coupled with what I would say a crew that are definitely in synchronisation and harmony.
Well, you need to, if you want to race at senior double sculls, then you will probably be spending a couple of hours a day on the water in the boat with your partner, and you really have to, although you can see that the two ladies from Tideway Scullers are very different size physically, you can't actually separate. You could, one of the tricks we do as coaches is we'll say, let's tie a piece of cotton between your blades, and that piece of cotton should not be broken. The sculls should be parallel forward and aft and up and down, and as you look from the stern of the boat you should see just one set of sculls at all times, and Tideway Scullers are achieving that beautifully.
You're watching images here of Henley Women's Regatta. I'm with Stan Collingwood, and you're getting coaching tips for nothing.
Yes, I'm afraid normally I'd be charging for that sort of information.
I remember you describing once one race, Stan, I'm going to embarrass you here, and you were talking about the chip chop cauliflower rhythm. Many years ago. You probably forgotten it, but
what you try and do as a coach is you try and find ways of enabling the athletes to pick, if you like, they have a gearbox of race paces.
Senior double sculls, next heat is Nottingham Rowing Club against Thames Rowing Club, and Nottingham Rowing Club have taken the lead at the top of the island. This is race number 24. Senior double sculls scheduled at just after 2:30 on this Friday, the first day of Henley Women's Regatta. The sun's come out and there's plenty of people down here watching. As you can see here, the double sculls making their way down across the car parking area and towards the church, as we are trying to pick them out now on the screen. Stan, the sun's come out and there's a decent crowd outside here.
I've not seen a crowd as big as this at a Henley Women's Friday. I'm really pleased that the sun's come out and the towpath is lined from end to end of the course. I'm told the enclosure is very full for a Friday. And what could be greater than having good quality rowing, great racing, the fabulous scenery of Henley. I'm sure all the people that are watching this when they should perhaps be working, or when they're sitting in their front room and they should perhaps be out weeding in the garden, why not? Come and join us. This is wonderful stuff. This is what British summer's about, and this is why once you fall in love with rowing, you never fall out of it.
Nottingham up against Thames here in the senior double sculls. We are positioned in our commentary position pretty much on the halfway spot, and the crowd's here beginning to give these crews a cheer, and it's Nottingham that have a lead now of some 2.5 lengths, Stan.
I think, yes. Rosie Taylor and Catherine Gwiller-Agon leading Charlie Phillips and Helena Green from Thames Rowing Club. by 2.5 lengths. And once again, as we saw in the previous race, it's not a great deal of difference between these two crews in terms of how well together they are and how rhythmically they've managed to find a uniform rhythm. It's just a question of precision and a little bit of strength in the legs. 80% of what happens in the boat, we always tend to say, comes from the legs. The rest, the back and the arms, are merely there to move that power from the legs into the boat, and we just have a situation there where Nottingham were just doing that slightly better than Thames, but over the 1500 metres that makes quite a difference.
3/4 of the way down this 1500 metre course, they're going now through the grounds of Upper Thames Rowing Club, which is the home of the Loddon Lily. More about that in a second, Stanley. The boathouse at Upper Thames, then the clubhouse at Upper Thames, and then Remenham Club, where we have a lot of public, a lot of spectators, and our very, very valuable sponsors. So we're looking here at Nottingham that have a comfortable lead in this one, I'd say, Stan.
Yes, but both these doubles have...
We're now going to look at race number 25. This is again senior double sculls between Edinburgh University Boat Club and Leander Club. Edinburgh University are on the Berkshire station and Leander Club are on the Buckinghamshire station, and it's the double scull of Leander that have charged ahead here at the top of the island. Leander Club, of course, with their cerise blades, and looking here at the images, Leander have a lead now of a length.
Well, we would expect if one of the Leander Club, of course, which is the MCC of the rowing world, when you're racing for Leander Club, if you're one of their official squads, you can race as Leander. Otherwise, you race as Star and Arrow. So we can be sure that Alice White and Emily Ashford from a well-known rowing dynasty, I think her sister was a rowing international, so they'll be part of an excellence programme, and my guess is they'll be banging on the door of under 23 selection.
Well, Alice White was in fact a member of the Henley quad that won the very first junior quad Sculls.
So she comes with a pretty impressive pedigree.
She was in a boat with my daughter, so that's very impressive indeed. Yeah,
well, I remember that day because you could be said to have got a little excited during the course of that.
I was crying like a baby, to be honest. Anyway, so Alice from there went on and rowed at Shipley College and has just joined the Leander programme, and it has to say she's taken her rowing very, very seriously these days, and good luck to her. Here she is in the double sculls. So she won Henley Women's 4 years ago, I think, with Henley, and here she is back now, Leander Club. So good to see these girls progress.
And well, you can see, yes, in order to try and hang on to them, Edinburgh University are rating at 37s, which is going to be right on the limit, whereas Alice and Emily are just ticking along at 32s and really just not even not flat out. They're just cruising along at race pace, but at the bottom end of race pace. I can understand that because they'll have 3 more races this weekend before if they're going to get right through to the final. And of course, with each round, things tend to get a little bit tougher. And so I can see why what you do today is just enough. And they've got that 2-length cushion. And I'd be very surprised, unfortunately, if Laura MacDonald and Amelia Donovan from Edinburgh can keep going at 38.
And it looks to me as if they well and truly have this one in the bag. They'll progress through to the next round.
I do them a disservice because they are in fact keeping at 37, Edinburgh University, keeping plugging away. And here we go, the Leander double, the Leander double just now down to 30. and I don't suspect they're at 100% pressure either. But just look how beautiful that sculling is from Alice and Emily. Quite effortless, beautifully relaxed, but it is not hugely powerful. That's the trick in good rowing. It looks relaxed, but it's really very, very hard work. And to be relaxed from the hips up, and here we go with, no, this is still the Leander race, to be relaxed from the hips up whilst applying all that power from the legs, that's what takes the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of practice. So coming down now, with the race well won, winning as they want, Alice White and Emily Ashford from Leander Club. They've now drawn right away from Laura MacDonald and Amelia Donovan of Edinburgh University.
Senior lightweight double, senior lightweight single sculls. These Scullers, Tideway Scullers school nearest to us.